This episode of Well Met is brought to you in partnership with Legion by Lenovo and Intel. Find out more about Legion by Lenovo on Facebook and Twitter at Legion by Lenovo.
We're almost there. Quiet down, everyone. This is not like any of our previous expeditions. This will be far more ambitious.
You're listening to Well Met,
a
Hearthstone podcast brought to you by BlizzPro.com.
Well met.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 100. 100 episodes of Well Met. Hello, welcome. This is Well Met. Shut up, crowd, shut up. Too long. Pay attention here. So welcome to episode 100 of Well Met. We are a Hearthstone podcast from BlizzPro.com from Denver, Colorado. I'm John Horstman. With me, of course, is the crew. We've got a special crew with us. Now, initially, it was going to be RayC and HotMEOWTH. Then HotMEOWTH is like, you know what? I'm going to be the best player in the world. I didn't win PAX East this weekend, so I'm going to grind an open tournament instead. And so he's doing that. You can see him in the background. So technically, he's here. I'm not even changing the vectors. He's staying on there. It's Ray and HotMEOWTH. We might even yell at him a couple times, get his insight on things. But first, the new PAX East champion. It is none other than our good friend of the show, RayC. Ray, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, John. Good to be here as always. Always fun time coming on Well Met. I think this is my third or fourth time now.
Yeah, dude.
Something like that.
You've almost been here more than Tannen has.
Whoa.
Got him.
I was a guest twice. I'm almost as many guests as Ray.
I think every one that I've done was with you, actually.
Yeah, I think so as well, actually.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sorry, I had to adjust a level really quick. Yeah, and Tannen has face cam. He's not on on scene. Yeah. And I need to formally apologize. I did not mean to call Tannen's in-laws dinosaurs.
They pretty much are. It's fine.
I thought it was so funny. I'm like, oh, that would have been so much more funnier. Could have played that up. Anyways, let's jump over to Baton Rouge. No, we go to Kansas. Where do we go first? Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I think. And
Sure.
it's Tannen. Hey, Tannen.
Hey, John. How's it going? Looking forward to this week's episode, number 100. I mean, I've only been here for a few, but
Episode 5
feels like
for
I've
you.
been here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like 100 for me. All because of you.
Interesting.
We got it. Got that out of the way. Let's go, last but not least, over to Kansas City. I'm sure you've got a little bit of spring fever here with baseball coming up. J.R. Cook.
I have a little bit of a fever. I don't know if it's spring fever right now. I am sorry. I'm fighting a little bit of a cough, a little bit of a flu, chest cold thing. So hopefully I have my mic muted before you can hear any of that. But no, I'm super happy to be here for episode 100. Unlike Tannen, I've been here for a good majority of them.
Yeah.
All
of them.
Yeah, and I would have to say that all of the ones that I've been here with Tannen, it's felt more like 500.
Jeez.
So, there is that.
So it's going to be like that, boys. Are we just going to be throwing shade all show here? Because we can do that, but I need the PvP button.
The 100th episode of Well Met, the roast episode of Well Met.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would
Episode
cry.
100, The Hunger Games.
Yes, exactly. I love it.
All right. Anyways, don't whistle into a microphone that has a gate. That's not good form. Anyways, well, we've obviously had we had a break last week, and then we were actually initially going to have a different plan for episode 100, and that didn't quite work out. And we were like, you know what? How about we just do you one better here, and we just get you the PAX East champion on the show for episode 100. We were initially going to call it episode 99.5. We're like, nah. This gets episode 100. It's worth it. So let's talk a little bit about our weeks in Hearthstone. Ray, we're going to toss it to you first, man. What has your week been like? You just won your first major tournament. You just finished second at another, right? Was it PAX South?
Yeah, that was like a month ago or something.
Yeah. So you're on a roll here. What's your week been like? Great. You're making for great podcasting material here right now. We get it. You're a humble dude.
See if that guy behind you will come on and talk to us.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. It's been pretty awesome. It was pretty draining. I was just like, it still probably hasn't hit me yet, honestly. Like today, I mean, I was pretty much sleeping all day. I think Edwin's just been grinding opens while I've been sleeping. Yeah, today's a rest day. Yeah, he's just been grinding opens all day while I've been sleeping. It probably still hasn't even hit me yet that I won. Like all the people that I beat in the big names, like Kalento, Muzzy, I beat Sidonia, like all those people. Like I don't know, it just doesn't like feel like anything, you know? Like it, like
because
I
it's
really
just another
realized
day
it
in the
yet.
life. You beat these guys on the ladder almost every day, right? That's just it. It's just the Ray way.
I don't think it's that. I think it's just like it's still so close to after it happened that I'm still like kind of recovering from it before I even realize it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's good of you, and you're staying like cool and humble. I love it. Don't lose that. Don't unfriend me on Twitter. That'd be great. Thanks.
At what point in one of those tournaments though do you start do nerves ever get to you at all, or you start like going, oh shoot, I might actually be able to do it, or how much was in the back of your head during like the final match that you had that you might end up losing and have to also replay it? How much of that was going through your head and psyching you out at all, or were you just able to get through it and go?
Yeah, like never really got nervous or anything, honestly. I just like wanted to win, so I just didn't really think of anything like that. Like I was pretty focused. Like my attitude was like pretty flat. My whole affect was just kind of like people thought I was like just not happy, like with like getting to like the top 4 grand finals, top 8, whatever it was that I was in at the time. People were like, you don't even seem happy. I'm just like, I just like can't like think
You made
of
it this
anything,
far,
like,
you just gotta finish
Yeah.
it, right?
yeah,
Just
it
staying
was just like
focused.
not. Yeah, I was just like not thinking anything, and like we still have to go. We're actually, me and Edwin are heading out to South by Southwest in a couple of days, so we're actually like just practicing for that, and then just flying out to Texas and playing in another major in like 2 days. So it's still like in that mode where like literally I'm just like sleeping today and then resting tomorrow and then going to fly out to Texas for another major. Maybe I'll realize what I did after we get home from that.
When you have just a couple sacks of money sitting on your home porch, like, oh yeah, that's right. I just won a bunch of money playing Hearthstone this weekend. Well, man, congrats. Again, we're excited. We're going to talk more about how you played, how you picked, the opponents that you played against, and who you felt was the strongest. We're going to get to that all later in this show. But let's see what the other hosts have been up to in the last couple weeks. JR, what about you, man? What's your Hearthstone life been like since February?
Oh man, since February. Well, I was doing pretty good on that Team Hearth League. I think I finished the season at 5-3
Nice.
for my first season, which I don't think is too bad. I actually boosted up my my power rating or whatever the heck they call it there a little bit. Still in the 2nd seed, so I was pretty happy with my finish there.
Nice.
Played some heroic Tavern Brawl this week. I think my biggest one was 8 wins.
Nice.
I only played a couple. I think I did a 3-win and an 8-win, so I was pretty happy with that. Not the 12-win that I would have liked, but maybe next time.
Nice.
But other than that, I've just been playing the Nintendo Switch because I bought one and it's awesome.
Me too.
So
I'm jealous.
I got one too.
Zelda?
It's been tough.
Zelda?
Duh.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
alright.
that's the only game for
It's
it.
the only game out. Yeah.
The Zelda
Oh,
machine.
is it? I didn't know. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's how out of touch I am.
It's a Zelda machine, man.
It is a Zelda
Basically
machine,
is
but
right now. And
it's
so
a
we
good
get
game.
like Yeah,
So-
it's an amazing game. It's got a 97 on Metacritic right now. It's a really great game. It's my first Zelda game.
I already rank it as a top 5 all-time favorite game for me, and easily already.
Wow.
So
Nice.
John, I'm gonna ship you my Nintendo 64 and Ocarina of Time. And
I
then you
have
can-
it. I actually have
you
it.
have it? All right.
So small
You should try that one.
side story. When I started
I
dating
ranked
Katie,
this.
she when I started dating Katie, she made him pass. She goes, "Man, I would love to play Nintendo 64 and play Ocarina of Time." And within 3 hours, I was on Craigslist and tracked all that down and got her one so that she would play video games with me. And here she is now spending like 30 hours a week playing Overwatch. So, hey, there you go.
I do actually rank
She's a
this
keeper.
above Ocarina of Time.
You do?
myself.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I heard that from multiple people.
Let's Tannen, what have you been up to in Hearthstone, not Overwatch?
There has been some Overwatch.
Yes.
No, actually, it's really funny. I haven't done a lot of my own Hearthstone in the last few weeks, but it has to do with a couple people that are on the show.
Okay.
I actually subbed in for JR for one of his matches a few weeks ago, and swiftly 3-0'd my opponent. So I thought hopefully I helped you out a little bit there, JR. But that was pretty sweet. It was right after the changes, so that was fun to kind of like play the new format because I hadn't even played it yet. I was just getting back from vacation. Also finished up a tournament that a bunch of my friends have been putting on. I kind of like had talked about that. I finished it. We actually ended up splitting the finals because the entirety of the tournament took place before the change of cards. And then into the finals, it's like, well, we'd have to remake lineups and like it's kind of unfair. And so the guy and I just talked it out. And we're like, I was like, we could just split it. I don't care, And so he's like, that was fine. So other than that, I actually didn't partake in Heroic Brawl. It seems like a pretty big gold sink to me, and it's like really hard to actually make value off of it. And plus, there's a new set coming out, and I'm pretty much a free-to-play player, so making sure that I can still get everything from the new set. So kind of hoarded my gold a little bit there, the greedy side of me.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's some definite conspiracy theories about the timing of that Heroic.
They always put it out right before a new set. That's all I'm saying.
We're gonna talk about it. Don't spoil it. We'll do it. Don't worry. As for me, I've been streaming a lot, and so I've been streaming Overwatch quite. Or did you miss something, Tannen? Was there something else you want to talk about?
Yeah, the one last thing. I was actually out of town. I was out of town again this weekend, but I got to get my Hearthstone fix. Actually, I don't recommend doing this at home. Don't do it, kids. But on the way home, driving home from Dallas, it's like a 6 or 7 hour drive.
Nope.
I watched Ray win this weekend and was pretty excited. I was not playing Hearthstone while driving. No.
I thought you were about to say that you were playing Hearthstone, and I'm like, dude, that's no.
I mean, I would look every now and then, but not really. But I was mostly listening to it because, the Fire Bat and those guys, they're so good at like painting an oral picture, and so I can kind of follow the game. And I'm just sitting there like, yes, he's gonna do it, he's gonna win. And then the fist pump, I just loved it. I was fist pumping in my car right along with you, Ray. So pretty happy to see you win. But that was the highlight of my Hearthstone over the last 2 weeks. So
nice.
Sounds like a good highlight.
Yeah.
I watched a ton of Hearthstone this past week. This has been a month of arena for me. Actually, like, you know what? Yeah, I've been trying to play arena. I've been playing 5 to 6 games before bed every night, usually 3 or 4 in the morning. So I'm getting about 10 arena games in and an arena draft. So almost one every day. And I've just been trying to learn that a little bit. The ladder wore me out this past month with all the shaman, and you guys know I ground shaman to the ground, and so it was just time. And I'm like, I need a change of scenery here, but I don't really want to play constructed ladder. I don't really want to play wild. Well, let's jump into arena, and so I'm not going to be doing a whole lot. I'm going to get up to probably like 20 or whatever, but I'm going to just be running almost exclusively arena this month, just for fun, just to say that I did it and see how I've done. So far, I've had this last week, I had 2-11 runs, 11 win runs, and I had like a 3-win run and then like an 8-win run. So
that's pretty good.
I think I've done 4 or 5, and those are the ones I can remember. I know that my best are 11, and I know I have 2 of them. So that's been fun. So stay tuned for that. The last thing I wanted to say is we would love to hang out with all of the fans of Well Met in our Discord. So if you're bored or you got Discord and you got some room on that left sidebar, hop on over to discord.gg/BlizzPro. It was awesome. We were hanging out in Discord, actually watching PAX East, talking about Ray behind his back, deleting all the messages afterward, of course, so you can't go back and see what we were saying. But we were talking about the plays that Ray was making and other players were making, and what would we do? And it was just a really kind of fun way to experience a tournament like that, and a really fun way too to kind of talk through plays and talk through players and matchups and lineups, and it was really fun. So you should definitely do that. Let's jump to the news.
This week in Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft.
All right, before we get started, we do want to thank our friends of the show, Albert T, TheRealBen, Correl, and you're going to have to forgive me. We're going to say Variatus. That's going to be the new friend of the show. Email me or tweet me the phonetic spelling. Otherwise, you will always be Variatus, like Coral or Correl was Coral for like 6 months until he finally is like, dude, it's Correl. So sorry about that. Anyways, thank you so much. If you like Well Met, want to support it so we can continue to bring on awesome guests, put time into questions and new sounds and all that stuff, head on over to patreon.com/wellmetpodcast. All right, let's get economical for a second here. Let's just let's break it down for the math nerds. It's Hearthstone. People love math. So we've got some price adjustments, quotations, going on in Europe. So generally speaking, across the board, you're seeing about, on average, a 30% increase in-game purchases for Hearthstone in Europe. And people are pretty pissed, I guess it would be the right word, and rightfully so. No one wants to pay more for something today that they were paying less for yesterday. But it's an exchange rate thing, right, Tannen? Is that what's really going on here? Is it's just they're catching up with different exchange rates and inflation things going on right now?
I mean, that's what it seemed like to me. That was their explanation, right? You know, it's exchange rates and inflation seemed to be like the real hitting point for me, that they were just like trying to keep up with, obviously inflation and as well as demand. I mean, like the thing is, it seems like they're doing very well over there. And so it's not going to, hurt their sales. So why not? I mean, it just makes sense because if it's going to cost them more to kind of do that thing, it should be reflected in the price.
JR, you're like the Blizzard business guy. When I have a question about like Blizzard business practices, JR is usually the man. What do you take from this here, JR?
Unfortunately, I'm going to let you down a bit on this one, John, because I'm like Tannen a bit on this, where I am not a number scientist. So
fair.
But so it's, to me, it's probably just comes down to exchange rates, paying extra for having that exchange happen, and just making that cost be the same across the board if they can. Yeah. And maybe just being able to fluctuate it. Like, it seems like to me they've added a way of being able to fluctuate it now, where they can make this change a little more often. And maybe the price will go down next time. I really don't know. I don't think it's Blizzard being greedy. I think it's just Blizzard having to respond to how the international marketplace works.
Yeah, it's not Blizzard being greedy at all. It just makes economical sense. Like, this happens in pretty much every other product that you have that it goes on in America and Europe and vice versa. Like, the price is going to be different for import and export or anything like that because there are exchange rates and there's the price of doing business overseas. And yeah, it's a digital card game, but they have Blizzard in-house in Europe that they have to also support and stuff too, and that takes money out of their pocket. So I'm surprised it took this long, honestly.
Sure. Well, this has been your weekly math conquest here on Well Met Podcast. We won't talk about math again on the show. However, we will talk about the Hearthstone Global Games. So can't remember if we talked about it on the show or not, but the Hearthstone Global Games are a combination of the #1 point earners, HotMEOWTH, and there he is,
Nice.
nice little wave in the back, and then some more popular and prominent community members / really popular streamers or really great players. So Ray, I wanted to get your thought, and hopefully HotMEOWTH can chime in on this. What are your guys' thoughts on the global games concept of taking your top point earners in combination with the kind of some more community members and figures to create this tournament?
I mean, it makes sense that they would take influencers and put them up to vote, because the influencers are probably going to beat the grinders and stuff, and it kind of gives the grinders like some exposure still just to get nominated, because people get to see them on the voting screen. But like it's going to come down to like who's more popular, right? Like the influencers obviously going to get in over the grinders, but like giving first place an automatic spot is kind of good, just because I mean, if you're a real grinder, you'll just get there, or win summer prelims and make a little kid very, very angry. But
does HotMEOWTH think it's pretty good? Get first place, getting
I'm just happy to have the spot. I mean, I grinded there too. I mean,
yeah, you put in
Amnesia,
a lot
I probably
of work,
grinded even more, but I'm just glad I have the spot. And hopefully it gets folded in too, because Amnesiac and Muzzy is like one of the best grinders on NA, and if I have those two on the team, I'm happy.
Nice. That's
plus.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, plus, like, if the influencers get in who like aren't really paying attention to the meta, like he can just help them out anyways, like in the sense that like if they're willing to listen, like he can just make them play good decks basically. Nice. So like either way, it'll probably be good. But so if he messes up, the anchor's gonna sink the ship like he did for me.
The American anchor. I'm ever gonna sink the team, or I'm gonna sink other teams, I guess.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think are some of the stronger rosters of players that they have to choose from? Do you think specifically NA has a good chance here, or which countries do you think that?
I think Ukraine, right? Ukraine has Kolento and Dr. Hippie.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So Ukraine for HotMEOWTH. Any other big standouts for
Germany,
you, Ray?
Yeah, Ponyhoof.
Yeah, Ponyhoof.
Germany is stacked, right?
Yeah, Germany has
most
Sinto.
pro players there.
Yeah, Germany has Sinto and Zixo and
Zixo, Super JJ, Life Coach.
Yeah,
all the good.
They have like all the good players. Yeah, Germany. It's either NA, Germany, or Ukraine.
NA,
Sweden also has pretty good ones too.
Sweden does too, right? They have Orange and Ostkaka, right? They're both from Sweden.
I think Ostkaka is nominated. Wait, Ostkaka nominated.
Yeah, Ostkaka is nominated. They also have Show as well.
Yeah.
Well, in Powder is their anchor for Sweden, so and he's good. They got Force in, but yeah, then you've got Orange, Show, Legendarian, and of course Ostkaka. So pretty stacked. So there's quite a few smaller little European countries that have some pretty good teams, because even then Ukraine has Nyria too. I didn't even think about that. And Dr. Hippie and Kolento. Like there's some really good lineups there. Do you think NA is going to take it, Ray? Are you pretty confident in our NA brethren? Your buddy right behind you there?
Yeah. I mean, I think NA has the best players out of any, like, or I shouldn't say NA because it's not NA, it's USA, right? So like, I think the US has the best players out of any single country aside from maybe Germany. I mean, Russia has like Pavel and stuff, right? But I don't think like Pavel alone will be as good as like Muzzy, HotMEOWTH, Dog, like whoever else is going to get voted in. Like,
right. Canada has some pretty good players though too, right? They have APX Void, Sidonia, Purple, Silent Storm, Monsanto, Teebs. I think stop by in the chat too. So of course Teebs, Hot Form, Impact. Like that's not a bad lineup either.
No. Canada has like probably the third or fourth best, I would say. Like, I mean, all those players are really good, and I like all of them. but I don't think like I don't know when you just hear the names, like the power of the names from like Ukraine and Germany, it just feels stronger for some reason.
Interesting. Well, we have to see. So Ray, give me your bold prediction here of your top 3 at the end of Global Games. Number 1, USA.
Yeah, then Ukraine and Germany, or Germany and then Ukraine. Probably it really depends because it's like you don't know who's gonna get in, right?
Right.
I like bold, unprecedented, and unfounded predictions on this show. I hope that's okay.
All right, I think Germany's gonna get. I think Germany's gonna get 3rd because I think Germany's gonna vote in Ponyhoff.
Okay, fair enough.
But if they don't, they'll get 2nd.
Let's go to our well-met regulars here for a second and see if they have any different predictions for Hearthstone Global Games. Tannen, are you about right in line with Ray here?
It's really hard to disagree. I think 3rd place is going to be USA, 2nd place is going to be USA, and 1st place is going to be USA because that's all that really matters. We're winning all of it. No, but in all seriousness, I'm just really excited to watch this event. I think I've mentioned in the show before, one of my favorite sporting events in the world. Yeah, I'm this guy. It's the Ryder Cup. It's in golf where Europe plays against the USA, and you get like very patriotic about it and stuff. And I get kind of patriotic. Like I love the Olympics and stuff too. So I'm pretty excited to see this overall. But USA all the way, baby. We're taking it home.
Nice. JR, what about you? Any bold predictions here? I know you're not, you've said many times on this show, you don't consider yourself the Hearthstone esports guy, but at the same time, you always tend to like do pretty well in these prediction things. So I always have to ask.
And I was kind of looking because like we haven't really talked about like Asia Pacific, and they always seem to kind of be a dark horse, but I haven't, I guess I didn't realize that China's not actually on here.
Hong Kong, South Korea, though, I'm going to say it. I think if there is an APAC team that makes it in the top 3, I think it's going to be South Korea. They've got Handsome Guy, they've got Kranich, Data Honey, Surrender. Like,
South Korea looks pretty good. Like that would be
players.
A dark horse, but for the most part, it seems like USA is going to have a really good team, and Germany's like the ones that Ray said, just because of the quality of players that are in those pools already, and that's going to be difficult for them to people to not vote in some strong players from those regions. But I do think South Korea is going to be pretty good as well, so I might put them at number 3.
Cool.
Germany at number 2, USA at number 1.
All right, awesome. I like it. I would have to say I think US is going to take it. I think the quality of players, and I think we've seen it in tournaments recently where players like Ray and HotMEOWTH and other NA grinders are starting to kind of flourish and come up through those really tough open tournaments to really show how good and how consistent they are. And I think that they're finally getting their shot in NA, where NA grinders specifically kind of just get really overshadowed by, the big streamers, and it's really difficult to get to those tournaments. And if there's invites, which so often there has been in the past. So I'm really excited for NA here. So I think it's definitely going to be NA. I'm going to say NA number 1. I'm actually going to say this right now. South Korea number 2. And then I will say Sweden 3.
I was going to say the same thing. I think Sweden can definitely, I think Orange and Powder and those guys can definitely surprise some people. They've been playing really well the last few months.
Right. And there's, this is just fun speculation. Like you can't, the players haven't been picked. We haven't seen brackets. I don't even know if we know the actual format. So once we get closer, we'll probably spend a little bit more time. Like,
do you know the format for Global Games yet?
No, they haven't said that yet.
No.
Okay.
No, we don't know.
Yeah. So it's just.
Don't tell us if we're not supposed to know.
it's just fun. It's just fun speculation. So
they're gonna play arena against each other.
All old gods cards. Old gods cards only.
Old Exodus contain a god. Yeah.
There you go. So that is it. I think voting finishes. Is it tonight or tomorrow night?
It's today. Today.
Yeah, it's tonight. So if you're listening to this on audio, you missed it. You lazy slug. No free Old Gods pack for you. All right, let's talk about the next thing on the list though. Heroic Tavern Brawl was this week, and this is always kind of a hot button topic every time it comes around. The players who are quote unquote good at the game really love this way to flesh out their collection. The players who don't get enough time or don't have enough experience with certain decks absolutely hate this, because if you don't do well, it's totally a ripoff. But I want to hear from you guys. And Ray, I want to ask you first, did you get to do a Heroic Tavern Brawl this week? I'm sure with PAX East it might have been difficult.
It was I was actually kind of bummed out that they did it like right now, because I only got to play like one or 2 days of it. I think I played like one day. Like when Edwin was here, we had like two 12 runs and then like a couple of meme runs when we streamed. But yeah, we only got to do a little bit of it. It was kind of sad. I mean, we got like 2 12 runs, but other than that, like
I get to do a run before like the tournament. So
yeah, like that was it. Like we only played a few of them.
Sure. What were you running, and what did you have like the most success with, and what was your best run?
I think we got 12 wins with Pirate Warrior in under an hour.
Pirate Warrior was like fairly easy. Like
yeah, it was
very
we did it in
bold and
under an
daring
hour.
pick. Yeah. Winners like to win. I get it.
Yeah, and then I got a 12-win run with my Shaman deck that I played at PAX East, except I changed a couple of cards for that one.
Right.
But
we played a bit of Dragon Priest.
yeah, we played a bit of Dragon Priest.
It ended up well.
We would have gotten more wins with Dragon Priest if the anchor didn't sink my ship.
Oh,
Oh, I love it.
that's not
Nice.
going away, is it?
So only a couple 12-win runs from, two of the best players in the United States, if not the world. So, Tannen, you said you skipped this one, right?
Yeah, I've skipped the last two. I mean, the two that they've done these, and I always regret it afterwards. It looks like a lot of fun, and I like competition. Honestly, like the ladder gets kind of boring for me because it just feels like the games don't matter overall. And honestly, I had a question for Ray here. Ray, do you feel that like this is actually a decent way to practice for you? Like, it's do you feel it's better than just playing, random ladder games? At least it gets you into, the competitive juices flowing. It's at least somewhat of a like close to tournament feel.
I really enjoy the Heroic Tavern Brawls, honestly. I mean, I think ladder is a better way to practice because you're effectively wasting your time like the first like 4 or 5 rounds of the Heroic Tavern Brawl. But after that, I mean, the competition is like pretty comparable to like ladder because technically, like, because right now I'm like, that was like top 20 legends. So like my games in legends, since they fixed it or they changed it, I mean, are going to be harder than like almost any Heroic Tavern Brawl match. But like Heroic Tavern Brawl, you can queue into any like rank or skill level, right? It's only based off of your wins. So I'd say generally ladder is still going to be more efficient testing, but it's harder to do like make yourself queue up ladder than to like queue up a Heroic Tavern Brawl. And the Heroic Tavern Brawls are also just so much more fun too. So
that's true. Do you find that decks are teched differently in Heroic Tavern Brawl, where I feel like on ladder, if you're seeing a bunch of shaman, it's very easy to just go, oh, I'm going to throw in this card and boom. Whereas in Heroic Tavern Brawl, teching against a specific archetype feels a little bit more punishing if you quote unquote guess wrong.
I mean, I don't know. I think we just saw like a bunch of random stuff, honestly. Like we weren't even seeing Pirate Warriors like at all. Like, did we even play against like more than like 5 Pirate Warriors throughout?
Yeah, it was like
it was a really weird.
Like maybe because like it's not like ladder where like you just grind the same deck. Like you get to play against different ranks as you like progress. So.
Yeah, maybe like I don't even know. It was just weird. Like there just wasn't as much Pirate Warrior on the Heroic Tavern Brawls than there was on ladder. There was like a lot of like random stuff.
Less grinders, more like more memes and more like different stuff.
Yeah, it was weird.
Got it. Well, let's go lastly over here to JR for a second. JR, did you get a time to Heroic Tavern? You said 7?
Yeah.
Wins
8.
on yours?
Yeah, I did 8 wins on mine with the Reno luck.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I tried Druid, Jade Druid, and that's the one that I got 3 wins with. I'm just not good enough with that deck yet. I'm still trying to learn it a little bit. Also, it's just not that good of a deck in general. But
Sure. Cool.
Reno Lock I've gotten really good at, I feel, in the last month or two. I've played because I played it almost every week in not the Hearth League, so
Right.
Got to be decent with it.
Sure. I didn't do Heroic Tavern Brawl because I actually fleshed out and finished my Old Gods set. So I have all the Old Gods cards. So like the only advantage for me would be gold, dust, and if I get whatever 10, 11, or 12, some gold legendaries. And I just didn't want to spend the gold that close to the expansion. And so I still might. I had a couple people donate on stream when I was playing Overwatch to run Heroic Tavern Brawl, and it's just been so busy. I haven't been able to. So if I don't this time, I'm for sure going to the next time.
It's actually over now.
Is it over? I thought it would. Oh yeah, that's right. We used to record on Sunday nights. So
yeah.
Never mind. Thanks. Yeah. So anyways, that's it for Heroic Tavern Brawl here. Overall, kind of the same thing. We've kind of, I think, kind of talked about it a lot in the past about just the whole Heroic Tavern Brawl thing and where we think it sits and lands. So let's talk a little bit more about Journey to Ungoro here, because that's coming up. And so we are getting this is a little bit behind, but we are getting this kind of weird choose your own adventure type blog going on the Play Hearthstone blog. And do you guys think anything is coming from this? Basically, it's this person named Malone, and it's their expedition journal. And it's talking about how they were in Stormwind, went to Gadget Sand, and then ended up at Ungoro Crater doing some filming for a explorer, I guess. And then they're in Ungoro and talking about, hey, don't wander, don't touch the plants, be nice to natives. Elementals are bad and dangerous. Dinosaurs are scary and very dangerous. And at the end, there's a choose your own adventure thing where you voted and says the question is, what else should I bring to Ungoro? And the choice was an umbrella or a compass. And the fans voted and said a compass. What does this, what?
Yeah.
What does this mean?
I tried to make rhyme or reason out of this, and I've got nothing. Like, I'm hoping at the end of it we just get to see cards, like some spoilers or something.
That's basically what it is. I mean, there's some hints in here about like some of the stuff that we might see coming into the set. And for example, I know that it talks about Galvadon, which looks to be like it's going to be a beast legendary dinosaur.
Right.
They talked a little bit about that and how, and they also basically confirmed in there that dinosaurs will be beasts.
Oh yeah, so interesting. Man, that's a good find. And then there's what else? Something about jeweled macaws.
Yeah,
we also got stuff about that. And Professor Starseeker. Didn't we get confirmed by, I believe it was Yang Wu on the Angry Chicken, that Elise is going to have a new card in this next expansion? Yeah,
so Elise will be back and will be one of the legendary neutral legendaries, one of the 5 neutral legendaries. She won't have the same mechanics. It'll be a different card, but
it's going to be restore. If you have no copies of a card in your deck, restore your hero to full health. I'm calling it right now.
Oh God,
her and Reno got married, and
it'll be Elise Starseeker, aka Dino Jackson.
Dino Jackson,
yeah.
Oh, that was a meme from last time I was on here.
Yeah.
You actually convinced me that was a card that they were printing.
Yeah, we did. Look at that.
I'm still salty about that.
It's still salty. Okay. Fair enough. I don't blame you. You can't meme a memer.
It's true.
So,
there's a handful of hints that you can get from the post itself. I have no idea where they're going with the whole, compass or umbrella thing. They'll probably just decide which direction they decide on how to show off cards here in the next 4 days.
Right.
So.
Ray, did you take anything from this?
I think that the deciding thing might just be like what they reveal next. Honestly, I like it. There's no way like they're gonna print one card if like the votes choose one and then not print that. Like I don't know. That seems kind of weird, but
Yeah, it seems to me like even if it's not like, oh, we're gonna get a compass card, it's like each there's like, you know, imagine 8 different cards that you could choose, and based on the, you know, the 3 different choice paths you take, it's the card that you get. Or
it could also be like a community adventure type thing where like if you like you get a compass and then you try to go somewhere or something, and then like you get free packs or something like that. Like I have no idea, but
oh, interesting. And I suppose like it kind of keeps track of your vote. So I wonder if wherever you vote, you get a different thing going forward. That could be interesting. Get a different choice going forward. Because I think they can track that because you have to be logged into an account and have a certain amount played before you can do it.
For me, I totally voted for a compass because I would rather know where I am going
than not be wet.
Than not be wet.
It's very logical.
It made the most sense to me. Yep.
I got a great sense of direction. Give me the umbrella.
I mean, the end of it says that like the skies are looking wacky, so I don't know if
so
a
hold a
compass
metal
can help
umbrella.
you.
Yeah.
Well, no, it could be like you know, like asteroids and meteors are like coming down or whatever, whichever one's the right one, and you need the umbrella to block it. It could be a special umbrella.
Yeah,
that's one crazy umbrella that blocks meteors.
This is a little bit too far away.
We are in Hearthstone. We are in Hearthstone. It's probably enchanted somehow.
Yeah, it's true. It's from the Karazhan party. So, cool. Well, that's it. That's about all we got for the next expansion for Un'Goro these past 2 weeks, really. So it's been pretty quiet on the Un'Goro front, but we are 4 days away from those card reveals starting to roll out. So stay tuned. I'm sure we'll have stuff for you next week, which, by the way, episode 101 will be TBD. I'm going to be for spring break with my mom in Florida. So we got to see if we can find someone to record the show. And then I should still be able to be here. I just can't push the buttons. And it's not a lot of people push the buttons these days, I've found. So we'll have to see. So stay tuned for that. Follow us on Twitter and we'll get all that going right there. All right, let's talk about esports. I don't have the button anymore. So
beat him.
Apparently no one pushes the buttons.
Or join him.
Oh, no. Apparently no one pushing the buttons. So let's talk esports for a second. So we did have PAX East. It was an amazing, almost 200 player open tournament. Featured arguably one of the most stacked tournaments that we've seen. Yes, for sure for an NA event. So it's definitely really stacked. And we have the pleasure of knowing and then getting him to come on the show, the PAX East 2017 champion, RayC. And well, Ray, tell us about your experience a little bit. What was it like? You were telling us, I think it was before the show. Well, you were talking about during the beginning, feeling hasn't really set in yet. But what was your preparation like for PAX East? How did you prepare?
There was a group. It was me, Edwin, Sidonia, Correl, and Trump. And we just practiced a lot and theory crafted a lot. And we all brought the same lineup except Edwin didn't.
Yeah, brought 2 different decks.
Yeah, he was the farthest off. He didn't trust me at all.
Yeah, where did he finish?
I brought the Arena Lock and I brought your Arena Lock and Power Warrior.
Yeah, but he didn't bring the other 2 decks. Sidonia didn't trust in what did Sidonia? I think he didn't bring Reno Lock or something. He brought Druid instead, and then he lost because of it, and I beat him, so that feels pretty good. And then Trump and I brought the exact same lineup card for card. Trump was the only one who believed in me, dude.
How did he do?
I have no idea.
No,
honestly.
I don't remember him being in their super late into it. So you're just you just pilot the decks better apparently. So
Well, Trump actually taught me how to play Dragon Priest, and
did he really?
I played his list card for card. He's the one who convinced me to play Dragon Priest. I actually had no idea what I wanted to play for my fourth deck for the longest time, and he convinced me that Dragon Priest was the best. And I actually really did not like any rogue deck except for Miracle, and I thought that was going to be a bit risky.
Yeah, I brought Miracle, was fine. That was like my aggro shaman that was kind of bad. About the shaman.
Why did you not like bringing rogue?
I was afraid that I don't like the aggro rogue deck at all. I think the deck's bad with the Finja and stuff, and I am too afraid to bring Miracle Rogue to that tournament because in the opens, like a lot of the opens are being won by like quad aggro lineups that just absolutely destroy Miracle Rogue. So
Got it.
I was too afraid to bring it going into that. And then like I didn't want to bring Jade Druid because I thought it was like pretty bad against the aggro decks too.
Yeah, slow start and you're basically screwed. And we saw that quite a bit, right? Like one of the biggest things is that even if, Druids had their Jade Behemoths and Ancient of Wars on 6 and 7, there was just already so much board pressure that they just burst right through it and just, kept going to town. If they even got lucky enough to have those cards in there. So what? I don't want you to give away too much. So if I ask too much about your lineup and you don't want to give it away, just be like, I'm saving that one and we'll get it some other time. But the reason was why you haven't brought some decks is you talk about it was, kind of risky and, or just bad, but in some points risky. So did you target a more safe lineup? Did you think that was just a better way to go, is just playing it more safe?
I don't think I targeted anything. I think I just brought the best decks and banned the best deck. Like I banned Pirate Warrior every round. And I think that the decks I brought were the 4 best decks in the meta right now. So I didn't really have any specific strategy as opposed to targeting something. Like I'm not like targeting Druid or like Reno or any specific deck. I was just bringing the best decks.
Got it. Well,
or what I thought are the best decks.
Do either of you guys have any questions for Ray about his PAX East experience?
What was your favorite part of the tournament, non-Hearthstone?
Or
the whole event,
Honestly, it was definitely like meeting the people, like the group that we hung out with a lot. Like Trump, it was really random. Like he followed me on Twitter and then like we started talking and he joined our Skype group, our testing group, because he had like legitimate opinions and I learned that he was actually pretty good at the game. He wasn't just like one of those streamer people that doesn't give a shit. Oops, my bad. Sorry, John.
It's okay. I just have to remember 2009 bars is where I need to.
I'm sorry.
I need to bleep you.
And he hung out with us the whole time. Like all the dinners that we went to, it was like Trump and Sidonia just hung out with us, and they were just really cool people. So meeting them, well, I've already met Sidonia, but like just hanging out with them in real life was a lot of fun. Seeing all the international people, like the European people, was really cool. We didn't really get to hang out with them as much though, because they kind of did their own thing. Like you can't have so many people. Like that actually became a huge problem because like you have like 20 people going out to a restaurant at once, and it just like becomes really hectic. And then trying to like just physically get the group of people moving and not just sitting around talking to each other about like anything is just difficult. Like trying to just herd the masses of people that were like all wanted to hang out together started to actually just become really difficult to do.
I remember trying to track you down at TwitchCon, and it took us almost 5 hours before we landed at that piano bar. That was a night. That's a story for a different podcast. But man, that was funny.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So on the process of having your like kind of play group to test out these decks, what's that whole process like? When do you guys kind of start, and how do you like end up deciding like what decks are that you're gonna bring?
I mean, it starts after the last like major, I guess, like after prelims, like a few weeks before you're going to PAX. Like you're always like the meta's changing like constantly, so you don't actually know what you want to bring up until like maybe a week or two before, because like anything can happen before then. Like you just waste your time. Like aggro came out or whatever.
Yeah.
So like if that was actually a good deck,
It's more so like because like it's right after the Buccaneer and Spirit Coroner, so like
yeah,
a lot of different decks.
yeah, like you didn't actually have that much time to prepare. You only had like a week or two, because like it's really hard to theory craft like how games are going to play out with those nerfs. Like you kind of have to just play a lot of games after it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And are those games that you're playing against each other in this group then, and simulating tournament scenarios, or are you just theorizing these decks and trying them out on ladder?
I mean, it's both. Like when we have the time, it's not like we're all free like 24/7, you know. So it's like when we actually have the time to sit down and practice specifieds against each other, we will, or like specific matchups that we want to learn, we'll do it. But it's not always feasible. So like sometimes playing ladder is just like what you do.
Mm-hmm.
I have one more. Was anything way off? Like, did you test something for a while and you're like, this is just not anywhere near as good as we thought it would be? Or did you like feel like you wasted your time anywhere? Was there a deck that like you put some time into and you're like hoping it would be good and it was just ended up being trash? Or, you know?
I mean, aggro rogue, I wasn't hoping it would be good, because I wasn't hoping anything. I had like neutral opinion on it, but then I played it a lot and I just like put a lot of time into like learning it, and I just came to the conclusion that I absolutely did not like the deck, and I thought it was kind of bad in compared to the other good decks in the metagame. Like, I don't know, did you have any decks that you like played a lot and just didn't end up liking at all?
You mean the new decks, like the Finja decks?
Yeah.
I mean, I tried like putting Finja in every aggro deck, like aggro shaman, aggro rogue. This seemed distant enough at the end.
Yeah, I guess like Finja decks in general were basically like the main thing that
there's a lot of people bring like Jade Jude and a little bit My Ghost Kindred. Yeah. It's like aggro shaman wasn't like too much of a thing anymore.
Oh, aggro shaman is actually the probably thing that I put the most time into, because I was talking to Dog when Dog first made the deck, and I tried to make that deck better, and I played it a lot actually, and then I ended up not bringing it because it just wasn't as good as Mid Shaman in the end.
Yeah, I brought it. It was fine. It like even Mitsuhide, who brought like aggro shaman, say like it's definitely way weaker than it used to be.
Yeah.
So how much of that do you think is decks that you do well with are because it's more your play style and more of how you know that deck, compared to how good the deck really is, like win rate or wise, or if the perfect plays were made?
I think being comfortable with the deck is very, very important. Like, especially if you're playing in an environment where there's a lot of pressure, like being able to play your decks well and like being able to just play them on autopilot is kind of important.
Yeah. So even if there's a deck out there that is like, oh, this deck's gonna win, have an incredible win rate, but you don't feel comfortable with it, you might still bring the deck that you feel better with.
See, that's where like if it's too good, like say I didn't like Pirate Warrior, I didn't feel comfortable with it, I would still have to bring it because it's too good to not bring.
Right.
But like with the aggro rogue, like the stats I was getting wasn't like too like insane to not bring. Like,
so there's
Shaman
a definite
Warrior
trade-off there.
Yeah, it's like Shaman and Pirate Warrior were just like so much higher than any other deck, and then aggro rogue was like the stats on like the meta snapshots that everyone does are like probably like third best, but in my testing it was just like meh, and like my Reno lock stats were insane, like against everything, and my Reno lock probably performed like the best out of like all my decks. So,
right. And the reason why I was asking that is because like Disguised Toast, like he brought a really strange lineup and did fairly well in the tournament, other than when he decided to sleep in and not make it on the final day.
Yep.
But like his whole meme warlock thing that he built, and all the other kind of weird decks that he brought that he did well with, it seemed to me like they weren't the greatest decks, but because he knew them so well, that he played them really well.
I mean, that is a real thing. Yeah. Like
he's been trying really hard lately. He's had like some pretty high ladder finishes and stuff. while streaming as well. I mean, he's definitely been putting in the time, so your results should show.
Yeah, I mean, like even when decks are bad, like even when controller is bad, Fibonacci was still jamming it. Like sometimes you just do better just because you're just that much better than your opponent skill wise because you're playing a deck that you're good with. Like that is a real thing. That's why I think like the stats on the Vicious Syndicate site and like stuff like that are just wrong for Reno Lock. Like if you know how to play it correctly.
I remember that we were streaming it one time, and I remember someone was like, "Why aren't you playing Reno Lock? Why aren't you playing?" And it was back and forth, and I was just remember the one thing you taught me, or it was how do you? It was I kept beating Reno Lock back when Aggro Shaman was good, and you ran the 4-mana 7/7s, and it was something you had talked to me about. He's like, you should win 75% of the time against Reno Lock. People are just mulliganing wrong, and they aren't playing the matchup right. And once you learn to play the matchup right, it's a great matchup. I don't like playing Reno Lock against this version of Aggro Shaman, is what you were saying at the time. So I think it's really interesting. And we've talked about this many times, the dichotomy between like massively generated stats like Vicious Syndicate. And I know, Ray, at least at some point, you were a contributor to Vicious Syndicate, right, for the reports? Weren't you helping
I was on
write
their
some of
team
those?
for like, I mean, I was on the team for
That's
like
right. You were
almost,
with, VS, yeah. I remember.
yeah, I was on the team for a while. I helped them like start up the Data Reaper like as a thing a
That's
while
right.
back. And
So-
I did it for a long time until I got kicked off for like switching teams.
Sure. Got it. So, okay. So any other questions about PAX East? We good? All right, cool. Well, I want to hit on one more thing here before we jump into the meta, then close up for our show. We're already hitting an hour here. So we do have the Hearthstone Winter Championships in the Bahamas coming up next week, March 23rd through the 27th. So make sure you are staying tuned for that. That'll be at twitch.tv/play Hearthstone. And that's going to be the top 16 players, correct? The
Yeah,
top
four
from each region.
Yep. Dr. J is going to win it all.
Dr. J, is that your pick?
Kinky.
Yeah, he stayed over my house last night. It's a good time.
So you
Is that
rub
why
your
you think
head
he's
for
going to
good
win?
luck?
Yeah, is that why you think he's going to win, because he stayed over at your house? Or have you played with him? Like, do you think that this guy is kind of a resident sleeper here for the HCT Winters?
He's a good player. I stayed at his house for prelims, actually. I've known him for a little while, and just through talking to him, I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's just like one of those people, like how Sidonia was. Like, he has a real job. He has like a girlfriend and all this stuff, so he doesn't have the time to play as much as everyone else, but like he still grinds opens and does well. Like if you find him on Strivewire and stuff, like he's still top 8ing like big open cups, and he got like, he didn't qualify through Tavern Hero or anything. Like he qualified by being top 64 from getting high legend ladder finishes, but people just don't like notice it unless it's like rank 1 pretty much. Like, do you know who got rank 2 on legend ladder last season? Like most people probably wouldn't be able to answer that.
Unless it was me, I wouldn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like he's done stuff, but it's stuff that people just can't recognize because like nobody really cares about it, you know?
Right. I did want to ask you, because another one of the Americas players going to the Winter Championships here is Tare. And
yeah, Tare is Bay.
And I know you guys are pretty close too. So you're saying you think that Dr. J is going to beat Tare? Are you going to say that on the air? I'm just kidding. Don't take shots.
I'm staying in the Bahamas with Tare, so I don't know if I should say that. You might kick me out.
You were staying in the Bahamas, yeah.
It's okay. Dr. J will come save me.
Yeah. Now you're staying in the Bahamas with Dr. J.
Yeah,
it's okay. Tare will get first or second, and Dr. J will get first or second.
There you go.
So you both think that? Do you think that the Americas, specifically Dr. J and Tare, do you think that they're some of the stronger, if not the strongest players at this tournament, or do you have any other favorites that you're going to be watching. I mean, Pavel, you have to give that guy credit. Goes from world champion, and he's already in the winter championships for Europe.
Well, Pavel is probably easily, like, undeniably, like, one of the best players. Like, you're not gonna put him as an underdog. Like,
Right.
he's obviously a favorite, right? I think
Sure.
Teray is, like, a literal legend of the game, and nobody knows it for some reason.
He always plays high. Like he went to BlizzCon before, and then he almost went to BlizzCon again, like against me.
Yeah, like, he's literally not, like, I think he's top cut, like, he's top forward, like, the last 2 or 3 prelims or something, and he's been to BlizzCon. He's won so many things. Like, if you just look at his career in the game, it's more decorated than most of the pros that you actually probably know. It's pretty crazy how good he is at the game and how consistent he is and how well he does on ladder every month. And people just don't know him. Like, if you look at his Twitter, he has, like, no followers. If you look at, like, anything, he's just so underrated for how insanely good he is. And he also just, I think partly it's because he doesn't really talk to people. Like, he doesn't network as much as, like, the other people. He's never been on a big team either. It's just mind-blowing to me that, like, he's going to the Bahamas. He's, like, been to Worlds and all this stuff, and he's never been on a big team. And he's never, like, really gotten any big breaks. It's really weird. And not even in the sense that, like, big breaks in tournaments, because he's won.
Right.
He's won stuff. He's gotten to Worlds. Like, he just hasn't gotten any, like, big breaks in the sense of, like, people contacting him or just, like, just because he, like, I have no idea why. It's just crazy to me.
Interesting.
Because he's so good.
I like
And he
it.
just consistently performs.
I like the Talray sleeper pick because you're right. He's one of the most consistent players in the game. He's done really well when it counts, and he should have 10,000 Twitter followers and be on a, team or whatever, but he hasn't. I just checked 555 Twitter followers. Doesn't even follow me. Dude, we were at a piano bar together. Come on, bro. Just kidding. So let's talk about our picks then, because I don't know what next week will look like. So I want to hear your picks. So Ray, very nicely, diplomatically, not telling us who you think is going to win. Well, you essentially say Dr. J is going to take it. So Intare is a very close second/first. Fair enough. We'll give you that. Tannen, who do you like for the Winter Championships here?
It's gonna seem like a cop out, but I actually hit Talray as well. I've actually watched him play quite a bit. Like I'm not saying, I'm one of the people who does know of him, but back when I was doing a lot more casting, I believe I did some games of his like in an open event once, and I was super impressed by his play. And it's like Ray says, I think the guy's actually just insanely good at the game. So I would not be surprised if this is his breakout, and I kind of hope it is.
Cool.
And by breakout, I mean his first real big like public coming out of Hearthstone.
Yeah, I mean, there's likely going to be 60,000, 100,000 viewers plus, especially for those later matches. So it's a great opportunity to grow.
Trying real hard. Like, he didn't even have a Twitter for the longest time.
Yeah.
Like, I had to get him to make a Twitter. Like, I'm trying so hard because now he's like, maybe I should try to be on a team or something. So like I actually get something from this. And I was like,
yeah,
I've been telling you this for years.
It's like, maybe I should try to be a real boy for once, like actually, play the game and do the stuff other than just queuing up ladder and stuff. Yeah, I remember that trying to find him on Twitter at one point, and I just couldn't find him. And I was like, he must just have some other name or something on Twitter that I don't know.
Oh, that's funny. JR, what about you? Keep in mind, Dr. J is now in the chat, so if you don't pick him, it's going to be...
Oh, man, I'm nervous now. I was actually trying to find a list of everybody that was going to compete. I couldn't find one.
I will give you the
But I have a good
right
idea
now.
of... I have a good idea of who is...
I can do mine really quick so you can refresh the names. I'll do mine. So I actually, I'm not even joking. I was going to say this. Dr. Jikaninki is actually my favorite. I didn't know that Ray knew him before, honestly, just a couple days ago. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that he'd be here. But I loved his play, and I'm really, really glad that he beat Doc Pone. Really glad that he beat Doc Pone. I did not want Doc Pone to win. I don't know why. Anyways, besides that, so I think that's going to be it. But I do think that we might get some pretty like there's some interesting names coming up there that I've heard from people in the APAC region of some players who might kind of surprise here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see one or two of these players come from China and APAC. So that's going to be my sleeper there. JR, what do you think?
Yeah, Omega Zero has potential, but I think it's I looking at this list, like, okay, you guys have convinced me of Dr. J right now, but I have a hard time going up against Pavel. Like, until Pavel loses, I can't go against him. Like, he's got to be the favorite in my opinion, and it's going to be the one that I'm going to pick.
Yeah, I was actually going to say it feels wrong to not pick like a US guy, an NA guy, but I have this weird feeling it's coming out of Europe.
All right, fair enough.
It's hard to discredit Pavel in any way. Like, the dude's obviously insane, but I'm very biased, so
yeah,
I cannot.
Yeah. And, well, I would say Green Sheep would have a good chance, except for the fact that he's going to be running the Noggenfogger Zoo. So
you can just not
that.
draw it. You can just not draw it or discard it
God
every
bless
game.
Neville's, dude.
It actually
God
just
bless
passed
Neville's.
it. 5,033.
He actually get the 5,000 retweets?
For
Yeah, Neville's
hold on.
Again,
botted
Zoo
it.
from Green Sheep.
Yeah, Neville's botted it.
I will say this. I did my part. I did not retweet it. I like Green Sheep. I did not want him to play the deck.
So he is going to be playing it. Oh,
He's
man,
trying to
that's-
out meme HotMEOWTH, and like it's irrelevant. I don't know why he's doing it.
That's funny.
You just play my new Blood Wars deck with the Finja in there. Blood War the Finja.
Oh my God. Oh, no, thank you. We'll do a deck diagnostic of that deck if he takes it and wins it. We'll talk about why he won. So last thing, I did want to hit on the meta here. And honestly, I don't think there's any huge surprises here. From a purely stats-based portion of it, you've got Surprise, Pirate Warrior #1, Dragon Priest #2, and then quite a few kind of tier 2 decks below that are a few percentage points below that. But Ray, what do you think right now are let's do like top 3 ladder decks for like medium experienced players? So they're not legend, multi-legend players. At the same time, they're not like, this is my first time to rank 22 players.
Pirate Warrior, mid-range aggro shaman, and
Zoo,
Dragon Priest or Zoo probably. I mean, Zoo's always really easy to play, but I don't think it's better than Dragon
Zoo
Priest.
was, for the most part, like the best deck for like starters to play, and now it's like tier 2, tier 3, which is kind of bad, but still like the best deck to get into first, because like of the basic mechanics and like board control, like minion based board control wise. Yeah.
Cool. So I have another question. So those are the top decks that you guys are saying. These are the best right now. If you're looking for a good grindy deck, hey, there's your ladder grindy climbing decks there from the pros mouth themselves, the pros HotMEOWTH themselves. And I just got the worst look. Anyways, what about, can someone explain this to me? I've been playing Arena. What's going on with Finja? What is going, Ray, can you tell me why is Finja all of a sudden all these decks?
It's the highest win rate card in the game.
I mean, with the patches nerf, like aggro decks comes to Finja as an answer to make aggro better. I don't know. It's just like it's a card like in aggro matchups or like a mid-range trial matchup. If you get that card, like it just values the matchup. It just automatically wins you a mirror if you can get it on board and pull it off.
Yeah, the reward of Finja is so much higher than its like drawback, like its opportunity cost. Like playing Murlocs in your deck isn't as bad as you think. Like though, if you get Finja on 5, like you're probably winning that game like 60 to 70% of the time.
I say higher than that. It's
actually insane.
70%.
Like if you look at the stats, like just a Finja on 5, it's mind blowing how higher percentage, you just win the game like outright almost. It's people like Frozen. I was talking to Frozen. He thinks it's like easily like just broken. Like the card is too good, and he thinks that the meta will eventually become like just decks that can play Finja playing Finja, and them just being the best decks because it has like the Reno effect almost, where when you get the card on the turn that you need it, you just win, which is like turn 5. So like Reno, if you get Reno turn 6 against aggro, you just win. If you get Finja turn 5 against anything, you just win.
Would you compare it kind of similarly on a larger scale? Because what you're explaining sounds to me a lot like small time and patches. Basically, any weapons class with a 1 and 2 mana weapon, you just immediately ran pirates and everything became pirates on 1 and 2, and then you run your normal curve even for a while. We saw that for probably 4 or 5 weeks after we saw Mean Streets of Gadgetzan come out. So is it kind of like that, where it's just too good and too powerful not to play? If you can find a deck to put it in, it just you got to.
I think it's more counterable on some level than Pirates is, because Pirates is turn 1 to 2, so you don't have any time. You either have the answer or you don't. Finja's turn 5, so there's like more time to counter it. Like I think Finja might be bad against like decks like Reno Lock and probably Control Warrior and stuff, because they just have either good answers to it or just don't have to do anything. Like doing nothing against a Finja is like generally bad, but if you're playing a control deck that can just do nothing and like not really like lose that much, it's like not that bad. Like say like I wait an extra turn to like have mana for like a Shadow Flame or a Twisting Nether or something, like that's fine. Like,
got it.
Just not letting them actually activate Finja.
Got it.
Yeah, and then the big difference is the pirate cards are the activator for patches, whereas Finja is the activator card, and you only have one, whereas you have several pirates.
Yeah, like the card itself is broken when you draw it on 5, like way too broken, but like that doesn't happen. I don't think it happens enough of the time to make Finja like playable and everything. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
But it definitely fits in like Rogue and Warrior and some of those cards that were replacing the Small Time Buccaneer patches combo, right?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, I want to switch gears for one maybe 2 other questions, and we'll get out of here. So with PAX East, and even then, we've kind of seen Dragon Priest has always been fairly good, but we were actually seeing it more in tournaments. You said that Trump convinced you about how good Dragon Priest is. What can you tell us what that moment was where it's like, wow, yeah, Dragon Priest is a big deal. Like it's definitely good enough, not only for ladder, but a tournament deck.
Well, I mean, it wasn't necessarily that I was convinced that Dragon Priest was like insanely good, because Trump actually thinks it's the best deck in the metagame, which I disagree with. But it was mainly just that I didn't like all the other options like at all. And I was just like desperate to find something that I actually thought was good. And then he said that he thought Dragon Priest is the best deck right now. And I was like, I haven't really played that too much, but I should play it. And then I played it, and I was doing well with it on like ladder. And then I played like a heroic Tavern Brawl that it just felt really strong. And then I started practicing it like 1-on-1 with like friends and stuff. And it just felt like it was definitely good enough to be top 4, as opposed to the other decks that just felt lackluster.
Those infinite Draconid operatives, I get it. How can you? It's value on value on value. I get it. Tannen, JR, any other questions or anything you want to bring up about the metagame right now for you guys?
Nah, he nailed it.
Yeah.
Fine. Let's get out of here then. This is a heck of a show. It was definitely like high end player heavy, because I mean, we just have like 2 of the biggest brains in Hearthstone, and then half the biggest brain in Hearthstone in Tannen and JR, and then somebody has to push the buttons, right? So that's what I bring to the show. Thanks a lot for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 100. If you got emails, I'm behind on emails. If I didn't respond to you, send it to me again. Send it to me again because I probably lost it this past week and a half doing stuff. But you can send us your emails to wellmet@blizzpro.com. We'd love to hear from you, your thoughts, your comments, and questions and things that you'd like to have read on the show. And of course, we do want to thank our friends of the show, Albert T, TheRealBen, and Correl. So I do want to, I got a pronunciation as we were talking about it. I got the pronunciation and it is Viriatus. Viriatus is how you say that. So we do want to thank Viriatus as well. Welcome to the show as a friend of the show. And so our new patrons this week and the last 2 weeks, Tannen, are
Viriatus and Jay Weenies.
Jay Weenies. That's not Jay Weenies. There's one E and two N's.
I know, but I'm pronouncing it that way.
And it's JW Hennies, by the way.
Oh, it's definitely
Yes, I
Jay
know.
Weenies.
But I like Jay Weenies. And the fastest removal of Patreon support we've ever seen.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you can. Oh, it's
Thanks,
too funny.
Tannen.
All right, yeah, thanks, Tannen, and then also Tannen's last week on the show. So there's that. What
Good
about
run, guys.
what about iTunes reviews, JR?
Yeah, so this week we did have a 5-star iTunes review. His name is the bestest ever, but I really want to say it as the best test ever because every time I see that, and I keep saying it says test, but anyway, thank you so much for John's just looking at me like, why are you even still talking? But anyway, no, thanks so much for that 5-star review. If you'd like to give us a 5-star review over on iTunes, it helps us a ton. Just hop over to iTunes, type in Hearthstone on your podcast search, and you'll see Well Met right there. And you just click that, click the little 5-star. And I'll try not call you Jay Weenies like Tannen will.
Yeah, he'll call you the best test ever.
The best test ever.
Oh, gee. All right, well, let's get out of here. First, shout outs for the week, and where can people find you? Ray and HotMEOWTH, you guys are up first. Shout outs, where can people find you? I know you guys are the team for Panda Global now, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So,
Yes. You can find me at PG_RayC, and HotMEOWTH is at HotMEOWTH.
At HotMEOWTH, yeah.
Yeah. Also follow Teray at Teray HS and
yeah.
Dr. Jikiniki at. Oh God, you're never gonna be able to spell it. Never mind.
Just just Google it. Just type in
Yeah.
Dr. J. I'm sure it's the first one that will show up there.
And
Nice.
totally not a basketball
Hearthstone
player.
Global
Not at all. So yeah, awesome. Well, thank you guys for being on the show for our episode 100. That means a lot to us. Tana, what about you? Shout outs for the week, and where can people find you?
I want to shout out to this show here, Well Met. 100 episodes. Could you believe it when you did your first one that you're going to be around for 100
No
and
way.
possibly more? I mean, I know I'm not going to be around for 101, so it was fun being on this show.
Not at the rate
I'll
you're
try
going.
not to. Yeah, I'll try to pronounce everything correctly from now on. So definitely shout out to our new patrons, and I might get your names right next time, but I might have fun with it again as well. And you can find me on Twitter at @TannenGrace.
Awesome. And JR for you.
I just want to give a shout out to John for being here with me on 100 episodes.
Woo!
We're the only 2 left.
We
Yeah.
are.
Made it. So take that, Kevin. Take
Which
that,
one of us?
Tannen.
We'll do it. We'll do a choose your own adventure.
Which
Who
one's here at
dies in
200?
Unguro? Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys in Nguro. Who doesn't make it to the
Right.
next 100?
Awesome.
Well, yeah. I just wanted to give a shout out there. Also, a shout out to Ray and HotMEOWTH for
sure.
joining us.
Yeah.
And a big shout out to Ray for his victory and his awesome fist pump there at the end.
Oh.
You're
That was,
welcome. You're welcome for gifting that for you, by the way.
Yeah, you are a gift now,
That is
officially.
an awesome gif.
I didn't even like mean to do it. It just kind of happened. I was just like,
Oh, that's what makes it great, because it's a legit emotional response.
yeah, that was probably like the one time that I was like, I realized, especially like, I just really didn't want to have to reset the bracket. I was just ready to go home, just be a winner.
I wasn't even playing. I was watching and I was ready to go home. I'm like, I don't think I can sit through another Dragon Priest mirror, basically, because there was way too many.
I think everyone but your opponent wanted it to be over. Like production, casters, players, like everyone's like, can it be over?
Write him a check. Let's go. Awesome. Well, as for me, you can find me everywhere at Kick Tripod, or just go to kicktripod.com. That's my website. It's got the links to everything. I'm streaming a lot. It's a lot of Overwatch right now on stream, because no one wants to see me stream from my underwear in my bed. So, yeah. So that's not going to happen. But I am there, twitch.tv/kicktripod, and I think I'm going to be there right after the show. So come on over, hang out. We'll play some Overwatch, have some fun. I hooked up my iPad, so we doodle in between games, you know.
It's actually really cool, by the way.
Are you diamond yet, John? Are you diamond?
I'm getting close to platinum on PC. I'm diamond on console. Dude, I've never played a PC shooter before, man. Give me some credit here.
Neither have I.
But you've played like mechanically.
Yeah, I played like League and all that.
Yeah,
stuff,
I played WoW, which, you know, if you're a clicker, you're a loser. So you don't do that. You press all the buttons. So
yeah.
And that's why I do a podcast. I don't click these buttons. I press them, not because it's more efficient. It might be, it might not be, because it's easier. So I haven't done that. So get off my back. I'm trying. Anyways, come watch me suck at Overwatch, apparently.
I'll carry you one day.
Fine. Well, actually what we're doing is, that's my dog right here. Hey, Joe.
Hey little guy.
Dude, 100 pounds. He crossed it. 100 pounds.
What?
He did.
Can I have my dog in the show sometime?
Now weighs more than Tannen.
Yeah, the dog weighs more than me, but no, my dog is 8 pounds. She can fit on the screen with me at the same time. And she's adorable.
Yeah, I've seen your dog. She's really cute. She. I actually don't know. She. That's what I thought.
Maybe
anyways,
both. It's 2017.
But I was saying, Rosh from The Payload and I rolled brand new accounts, and we're going to just play competitive duo queuing together. She's a Masters player. I'm in gold, and we're going to see how much where you've placed in the past affects where you get placed there, because there's kind of a general idea, like around 80% of your placement matches are worthless. Like the 20% of winning and losing and all that stuff is there, and 80% of it is purely where you place. So we're going to be doing that experiment pretty soon. It's going to be pretty fun. So anyways, that's enough Overwatch talk. Twitch.tv/kicktripod. Let's get out of here. We record live every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time at twitch.tv/BlizzPro. Monday. It's Monday now, not Sunday, Monday, which means you're going to be getting the show on Tuesday, just in time for Blizzard to totally release all the new things. We don't even get one grace day anymore. It's the worst. Follow us on Twitter at WellMet Podcast, and WellMet is completely supported by our fans. So if you like the show, head on over to patreon.com/WellMet Podcast. And of course, grab your WellMet merch at store.blizzpro.com. Special thanks to Jake Butineau for our music and Scythe Designs for our graphics. This has been episode number episode 100. I was looking for, I'm like 90. I didn't update it. Episode 100. Congrats, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.